What's up, traders? In this video, I'm going to share with you how to properly do chart markups. I just bagged about 550 bucks in about 10 minutes on a Bitcoin trade. So we're going to use this as our example. That way you guys can properly document your trades. The reason you want to be doing this is so you understand what you're doing well and what's costing you money. If you're constantly spinning your wheels, especially if you're trying to get funded and you can't get a challenge done, starting to do markups correctly will help you identify new patterns that can help you make more money and avoid more losses. So let's get into it. All right, traders, I'm going to keep this as short and sweet as possible. As you can see, I've already bagged about 550 bucks on Bitcoin this morning. So I want to use that trade as the example for how to do chart markups. There's two parts to this. Number one, the reason you should be doing markups, it's really twofold. First, it's going to help you identify the patterns within your wins, the things that are helping you actually make money. It's going to really drive home the strategy that you're trading to help you build confidence in it, so there's less lag when it comes to actually executing the trades in the live market. The more pattern recognition you build, the more confidence you build, the easier it is to not miss a trade when it presents. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to really start to see what could be costing you money. There's little nuances within some of your trades that if we lined up, let's say 10 of your last losses, if we had markups of them, we could easily find a couple of things that you maybe overlooked in the live market that once we do the markups and we bring some awareness to those issues, we won't make those same mistakes going forward. So those are the two reasons why you really should be doing these markups. Now, where do you store them? I like to store them in my iCloud on my computer, but I also put them in TradeZella every single day. If you're not using TradeZella, I'll promo them real quick. It's 10% off if you use the code in the link down in the description. I highly recommend it. It is the best software that we've ever used for tracking your trades, getting the data, and knowing where to make improvements. So if you combine doing markups with TradeZella, you're going to have so much information, like I said, not only on what you do well, but also what's costing you money, so you can actually make improvements and move your trading in a positive direction. So that's why we need to do markups. Now, let's talk about actually how to do them. So what you're gonna see here on the screen is a 1-minute chart of Bitcoin. I've got a couple of different things on the screen I want to explain to you first. The purple line, that's my anchored VWAP from the low of day. This is the low of day set at about 650 this morning. That is a really important indicator that we use. Now, if you want to learn about how to use the anchored VWAP, we have a lot of videos here on the channel. I'm running a webinar in a couple of weeks. There's probably a link down there for that. Make sure you sign up. Make sure you check out those other videos. That's not what we're talking about today. But I want you to know that purple line is just an anchored VWAP. In this example, it's to the low of day. The blue box that you see here, this is a zone that is marking off also the low of day. How I use this rectangle tool is very important. It's called the 2-candle rule. So let's zoom in on that low of day and break down how to draw this zone. First thing you're going to do is you're going to come to the left side of the screen here, and you're going to drop to the shapes section and click on the rectangle. Now, really fast, you'll see I have some of these things starred. That puts them on my favorites toolbar. So here's my favorites toolbar. If you want to copy mine, just take a screenshot or pause the video and you can favorite these same few indicators, few tools that I'm using. So the rectangle tool, as you can see, it's right here. I have it set, if we double click on it, to have a small background, a thin background of 17% opacity. And I have it set to extend to the right because I want that zone to be shown as I'm looking for risk reward in my current trades. You'll see how that plays into effect in a second. That's the rectangle tool. Now the 2-candle rule, we're getting into some good details here, maybe a little bit too much for the markups, but you can see the pin here at the low, the 2 candles to the left and the 2 candles to the right are not lower than this pin, which means that's the pin that we draw the zone to. In the same sense, if we were looking for a zone on the upside, let's just take another example, like right here, we can see if I draw on this pin and extend it to the right, the 2 candles to the left here and the 2 candles to the right are not higher, so that would mean that this pin is the zone that we draw the rectangle from. So that's how I set up my zones when I do these markups. Now, to mark the entry, I'm either using the short tool or the long tool. You can find those as well right over here on the left side toolbar in the, where is it here? Is it in this section? No, it's in one of these sections. It shows you how much I know since I already have it saved. There it is, in the projection. This is where you can find the anchored VWAP tool, the date and price range, but also the long and short. Now, when I'm doing markups, you want it to be clean, right? So you can see how my charts look really nice. If we double click the short tool, first thing I would do is make sure that you have always checked off the always show stats and the compact stats mode. You don't need price labels checked off because then it just gets crazy on the right side of your screen. Text size, you can determine that for yourself, but I turn the opacity down on the red and the green just so it's not overbearing. Then we can actually line up and say, okay, this morning, as you saw on the Bitcoin trade, I was short here. I'm looking for 1R with this strategy that I trade. So take profit was down here at the low of day zone, and I was full out of this trade after about 6 minutes in it. It was a pain-free, beautiful trade, which just makes this video even more fun to make. So now that I've got the entry on there, I've got the short tool on there, I've got the risk reward using the measurement tool, I kind of can now see the trade you're taking, but it doesn't give me everything I need. I need you to put text on the chart. What's up, traders? I just want to take a second from today's episode to thank myself. I'm being funny, but also being serious. ASFX TV is the proud sponsor of today's podcast. Now, some of you might not know what ASFX TV is. Maybe you're living under a rock, and I'm here to pull you out. What we are now offering is for less than $1 per day after your 3-day free trial. You can watch me and our team of funded full-time traders every day, at least twice a day, London session and New York session, as we navigate the live market. You can watch to see the strategies applied from our course. You can watch to see how we're constantly developing them and trying to tweak them and improve them. You're going to see how we navigate through news. Really what you're seeing is the ups and downs of full-time trading. We don't shy away from our losses. We don't shy away from showing more wins. We show you the real reality of being a full-time trader. So I've got a link in the description for a 3-day free trial. Like I said, I want you guys to come check it out. I appreciate you very much for listening to the podcast, for being a constant viewer, staying through with us, and I want you to enjoy many more podcasts to come. But I also want you to make money with us. And the way that I can help you do that is on ASFX TV. So hit the link, come check it out, and enjoy the rest of the video. So now what we'll do is we'll put a text bubble, and let's break it down. I'll use a 20-point size font, I'll use bold, it's just personal preference, whatever you want to do. But let me show you how you give context to the idea. You don't just say, I got short here. No, it's not like that, okay? I want to know entry reason. So we say entry on the break of the low of day, anchored VWAP, stop loss, break down why did I put the stop there. Stop is above recent structure and gives me space to let the trade breathe. Take profit, TP, low of day zone at 1R. Now I understand what you were looking for when you took the trade. Now, as the trade develops, I want notes down here. Did it move in your favor? Did it not move in your favor? I got full out at low of day zone near 1R. It was just about 1R. Okay, so we mark that, and I want it to point exactly to the candle that you got out on. Now, I want you to also be critical of yourself. I want you to potentially go like this. Well, maybe the stop was a bit too conservative. I could have tightened it down a bit. Could say that, right? So I'm trying to be critical of like what could have been better on the idea. And I also want to put on here, like, why am I looking at Bitcoin over anything else? So we can add that into this text box. SPX is just getting going. It was just starting to move higher for the day, where this already has been moving. So now I'm giving more context to it. Now, the last thing I like to do is check ADR. And you can see we were trading rate to ADR because we had already tapped average daily range back here. So then I'll put the ADR on here and say ADR near 1R and low a day zone. Now I'll trade into that ADR because it's already hit this price today and I'm trading right back to there. I'm out of this trade, as you can see with the P&L. I'm out of this trade. I did not hold in for this move lower. All I wanted was my 1R. So now I've got everything that I need on this. I can remove the ADR line. I just don't need it. Now I want to make sure we can see my risk reward, my stop loss, my take profit numbers. So we'll slide this over, get everything nicely into frame here. Then we come to the top right and we download the image or copy and paste it into TradeZella where we save it. And that is literally how you do a chart markup. If you have any questions, put a comment down below in the video. Please reach out to me if I can help. But hopefully this gives you some context on how we do the chart markups and really how little you need on the chart to do a really good markup. So I appreciate your time. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.